In the heart of Romania, a castle perched on a cliff harbors chilling tales of the bloodthirsty Count Dracula. Welcome to Bran Castle, the 10th most haunted place on Earth. As history tells it, this ominous fortress was once the dwelling of Vlad the Impaler, the real-life inspiration for Bram Stoker's Count Dracula. Whispered stories of eerie happenings and ghostly apparitions abound, setting an ominous tone for our journey. But brace yourself, for we are just scratching the surface of the world's most haunted places. From a vampiric castle, we now step onto the blood-soaked soil of the Gettysburg battlefield, the 9th most haunted place on Earth. This hallowed ground where the tide of the American Civil War shifted is steeped in a history as haunting as it is heartbreaking. In the summer of 1863, for 3 grueling days, the Union and Confederate armies clashed in a battle that left over 50,000 men dead, wounded, or missing. The echoes of cannon fire and the cries of fallen soldiers still seem to permeate the air, an eerie soundtrack to a past plagued by conflict. Visitors and locals alike report seeing spectral soldiers, their ghostly forms marching on forever in their eternal duty. Unseen hands tug at clothes, disembodied voices whisper in the wind, and apparitions appear in photographs, unseen by the naked eye. The most chilling encounters speak of the ghosts of medics, forever trying to save their comrades in a battle that ended over a century ago. The smell of gunpowder and the sound of phantom drum rolls fill the air as night falls on the battlefield. The energy is palpable, a testament to the many lives lost and the horrors witnessed on this very soil. The spirits of Gettysburg continue to haunt this battlefield, a grim reminder of a battle that shaped history. Leaving the battlefield behind, we now venture into the eerie silence of the Island of the Dolls, the 8th most haunted place on Earth. Just south of Mexico City, nestled in the canals of Xochimilco, lies a chilling spectacle unlike any other. This lonely island, once the solitary refuge of a reclusive man, is now a grotesque gallery of decaying dolls. Don Julian Santana Barrera was the island's only inhabitant. In his solitude, a haunting obsession took hold of him. Legend tells us that he found the body of a drowned girl in the canal. Days later, he discovered a doll floating in the same spot. He hung it on a tree as a sign of respect for the lost child. But the dolls kept coming, and with each one, Barrera's obsession grew. Today, the island is a grim reflection of Barrera's descent into madness. Hundreds of dolls hang from the trees, their lifeless eyes staring into the void. Some are headless, others are limbless. All are weathered by time and the elements. Their hollow gaze is a constant reminder of the island's tragic past. Ghost sightings are numerous here. Whispers in the wind, footsteps in the night, and the soft giggle of a child echoing through the trees. Many believe the dolls are possessed by the spirit of the drowned girl, forever bound to this forsaken place. The Island of the Dolls is a bone-chilling testament to a man's descent into madness. From an island of dolls, we now ascend into the haunting halls of the Tower of London, the 7th most haunted place on Earth. A fortress steeped in blood and betrayal, the Tower of London's chilling past echoes through its ancient stone walls. Its long and tumultuous history is punctuated by gruesome tales of torture, execution, and royal intrigue, giving rise to countless specters that are said to roam its halls. Over the centuries, the tower has served as a royal palace, a treasury, a menagerie, an armory, and most infamously, a prison. Many a soul met their end within its foreboding confines, their anguished cries forever etched into the atmosphere. Astonishingly, there have been more than 100 recorded sightings of spirits in the tower. The most famous is the ghost of Anne Boleyn, the ill-fated queen who was beheaded in the year 1536. Her headless apparition is often spotted wandering near the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, where her body was unceremoniously buried. Visitors and staff alike have reported feeling an uncanny, oppressive atmosphere as they traverse the winding staircases and shadowy corridors. Some have even described hearing whispers and footsteps, the spectral echoes of the tower's tormented past. Yet, despite its grim reputation, the tower attracts millions of curious travelers each year, drawn by the allure of its dark history and the thrill of a potential spectral encounter. The Tower of London stands as a grim monument to the darker side of Britain's history. Leaving the tower behind, we now descend into the bone-laden catacombs of Paris, the 6th most haunted place on Earth. Beneath the bustling city of love and lights lies a chilling labyrinth of death, an eerie world of silence where the only sound is your own heartbeat echoing off the walls. This is the haunting realm of the Paris catacombs, home to the skeletal remains of over 6 million people. For centuries, these tunnels have been a playground for the spectral. Ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and bone-chilling cold spots are but a few of the paranormal phenomena reported here. Visitors often speak of a sense of dread that washes over them, an inexplicable feeling of being watched. Let's delve into the chilling tales associated with these catacombs. Legend tells of a man named Philibert Asbert, who ventured into the catacombs in the late 18th century and was never seen alive again. His ghost, they say, still wanders the tunnels, lost and seeking a way out. Then there's the story of the catacomb nymph, a spectral woman seen by many, who lures the unwary into the dark depths, never to return. These tales, along with countless others, have earned the Paris catacombs their place in the annals of the world's most haunted locations. The catacombs of Paris serve as a chilling reminder of the city's macabre past. From the catacombs, we now sail to the plague-ridden island of Poveglia, the 5th most haunted place on Earth. Nestled in the serene Venetian lagoon, this piece of land harbors a history that's anything but peaceful. In the 14th century, Poveglia served as a quarantine zone for sufferers of the bubonic plague, a graveyard for thousands. Their spirits, it is said, never left. Fast forward to the 20th century, the island saw the rise of a mental hospital, where a deranged doctor performed horrifying experiments on the patients. His ghost, they say, still roams the abandoned asylum, his tormented wails echoing through the decaying halls. Visitors have reported countless encounters with the spectral inhabitants of Poveglia. Phantom figures wandering the ruins, disembodied voices whispering in the wind, and an overwhelming sense of dread that clings as tightly as the island's misty shroud. The most notorious of these apparitions is the Wailing woman. Cloaked in a long black robe, her mournful cries pierce the silence of the night, a chilling reminder of the suffering endured on this forsaken island. Poveglia's eerie atmosphere is palpable, the weight of its past hanging heavy in the air. A sense of unease pervades every crumbling building, every overgrown path, every rusted piece of medical equipment left to rot. It's a place where the line between the living and the dead is disturbingly blurred. Poveglia Island is a chilling testament to the horrors of the past. Leaving the island behind, we now step into the ghost town of Pripyat, the 4th most haunted place on Earth. This desolate town, situated in northern Ukraine, is shrouded in a darkness that stems from its tragic past. In the year 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster wreaked havoc on this once flourishing town, leaving it a barren, radioactive wasteland. Since then, a number of spine-chilling stories have emerged from this forsaken place. Reports of ghostly apparitions wandering the deserted streets are not uncommon. Whispers of children's laughter echoing through the empty playgrounds, shadowy figures seen lurking in the abandoned buildings, and spectral lights flickering in the dead of night have all contributed to the town's haunted reputation. It's not just the physical remnants of the past that linger here. An eerie atmosphere engulfs the town, a palpable sense of unease that's impossible to ignore. It's as if the very air is heavy with the weight of the tragedy that unfolded here. The once vibrant community is now nothing but a silent, spectral shell of its former self. The ghost town of Pripyat is not for the faint-hearted. Its gloomy streets and decaying buildings are a stark reminder of the devastating power of nuclear energy gone awry. It is a place where the ghosts of the past seem to have settled, trapped in an endless loop of their final tragic moments. The ghost town of Pripyat stands as a chilling reminder of the world's worst nuclear disaster. From a ghost town, we now tread onto the haunting paths of Aokigahara, the 3rd most haunted place on Earth. Nestled at the northwest base of Mount Fuji, Aokigahara is a place of eerie silence and chilling tales. Its verdant beauty conceals a history steeped in sorrow and despair. Known as the Sea of Trees, it's a forest like no other, with gnarled roots and twisted branches that seem to echo the torment of the lost souls who wander within. Tales of ghost sightings are as old as the forest itself. Spirits of the departed, known as eerie, are said to wail through the trees, their cries piercing the silence in the dead of night. These spectral figures are believed to be remnants of those who ended their lives within the forest's dense undergrowth, forever trapped in a purgatorial existence. Aokigahara's reputation as a suicide hotspot has only added to its spectral lore. The forest's quiet isolation draws in those looking for a final lonely escape, their spirits said to join the countless yurei haunting the forest. Despite efforts to dissuade these tragic acts, the forest's grim history continues to cast a dark shadow over it. Aokigahara is a place where natural beauty intertwines with human despair, creating an uncanny atmosphere that sends shivers down the spine. Its ghostly tales and somber reputation make it a chilling destination for those brave enough to venture into its depths. Aokigahara Forest is a grim testament to the darker side of Japan's history. Leaving the forest behind, we now step into the chilling corridors of Eastern State Penitentiary, the second most haunted place on Earth. This once formidable prison, nestled in the heart of Philadelphia, has a history drenched in brutality and despair. From the moment it opened its doors in the early 19th century, it was a place of punishment and isolation, a living nightmare for those unfortunate enough to be incarcerated within its cold stone walls. Countless stories of ghost sightings have been reported here, each more spine-chilling than the last. Spectral figures are often seen wandering the cell blocks, their ethereal forms a haunting echo of the prisoners who once resided there. The sound of disembodied voices and distant wails echo through the empty halls, a chilling reminder of the misery and torment that once filled the air. The atmosphere that engulfs Eastern State Penitentiary is one of eerie silence and oppressive dread. The air is heavy with the weight of past atrocities, a palpable sense of despair that clings to the crumbling walls and rusted bars. Time seems to stand still here, the past and present merging into a chilling tableau of despair and horror. Eastern State Penitentiary stands as a haunting reminder of the horrors of the American penal system, its gruesome past forever etched into its decaying facade. It is a place of darkness and sorrow, a chilling testament to the depths of human cruelty. From a haunted prison, we now step into the chilling confines of the Demon House, the most haunted place on Earth. In the quaint town of Gary, Indiana, stands a house that makes the bravest hearts shudder. This is no ordinary house, but a sinister dwelling that's earned its name as the House of 200 Demons. Its chilling tales are not for the faint of heart. The Demon House, an unassuming structure, is said to be infested with more than 200 malevolent entities. Its story begins in the early 20s when it was built. Over the decades, countless tenants have reported a myriad of inexplicable phenomena. From shadowy figures darting across rooms, to objects moving on their own, to blood-curdling screams in the dead of night, the Demon House has seen it all. The most horrific tale from this accursed abode comes from a family who lived there in the early 2000s. The Ammons family reported seeing their children levitate, eerie disembodied voices and spectral apparitions. Despite numerous exorcisms, the paranormal activities never ceased, leading them to flee their home in terror. But it's not just the house that's haunted. The property itself seems to be a beacon for the paranormal. Neighbors claim to see ghostly figures wandering the yard at night, and some have even reported being attacked by unseen forces. The eerie atmosphere that engulfs the Demon House is palpable. It's as if the air itself is heavy with the weight of the unseen horrors that dwell within its walls. Even those who don't believe in the supernatural have reported feeling a sense of dread when standing near the property. The Demon House is a chilling testament to the darkest corners of the paranormal world. But remember, these are just tales, or are they? Sleep well tonight, dear viewers.